What is going on, guys? The Inside the Boot podcast, and we have our Week 5 picks. We did really good in the previous week, 12-4 record, and overall, we are now 34-30, so back over 500. We predicted that we were going to be over 500. We had a good week last week, only 4 losses. Like the Jets sold, a bunch of teams sold for us, but anyways, we have our first game of the Week 5 slate. We have the 3-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just beat up the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Atlanta Falcons coming off a very close win over the New Orleans Saints. Another divisional matchup. I'm going to take the Bucs this week. I think the Bucs are better. I think they're coming in hot. I think they're ready to really take over the NFC South, and I think the Bucs overall are going to take this game. In a close game, divisional matchups, I feel are always very close. Getting into our next game, New York Jets losing a bad loss to the Broncos. Bo Nix decided to beat Aaron Rodgers, and overall just a bad game overall from the New York Jets. They're taking on Sam Darnold, who is playing MVP type caliber right now. He's playing really good football, and I think the Jets playing on the road, I don't know how I feel about them this week, but I think Minnesota is playing such good football that it's, for me, I haven't looked at their full schedule, but for me right now, with how they've been, throwing the football, it's hard to really bet against Sam Darnold because that guy is just tearing up any sort of defense. But the Jets do have a very solid defense, in my opinion. Sauce Gardner, a bunch of guys in the defensive front. So I think Aaron Rodgers is going to beat the Minnesota Vikings. I think Minnesota is going to finally lose a game, and it's going to be against Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be against his former team. And I'm going to be taking a road dog. I think the Jets aren't going to be favored in this game, obviously. Minnesota's been much better than them this year. But I think if there's a time that a team is going to fall down to earth, it's this week. The Bills fell back down to earth. They got beat up by the Ravens. This week, Minnesota is not going to go 5-0. They're going to go 4-1. And the Jets are going to get a big bounce back victory over the Minnesota Vikings. Getting into our next game, probably the biggest, the boringest game probably of the week. Carolina, who just came off a loss against the Cincinnati Bengals. Close one, though. Andy Dalton has been playing, I think, better football than probably people expected. It's once they removed Bryce Young from the starting role, Carolina's starting to move the ball downfield more. Deontay Johnson's getting involved. All these guys are getting involved now. And Caleb Williams is playing at home. Caleb Williams back at home. And I think they're going to win this football game. I don't think Carolina has very much to their team, right? I think Andy Dalton is a quarterback can make this a close game. And I think Carolina is going to stay in more games with Andy Dalton as quarterback than with Bryce Young. I think we could definitely all agree with that. Getting into our next game, we have another divisional matchup. Baltimore Ravens just beat up the Buffalo Bills. Cincinnati coming off a close game against the Panthers that we just broke down. This game, I think, could be very close. I think this is a game that, of course, division matchup. You would think the Bengals, who just lost previously to Jaden Daniels, got a win against the Carolina Panthers. I think they can maybe start to go on a run. I think they can maybe start playing better football. It's just the defense and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, all of these type of stuff. Do they have enough to defeat the Baltimore Ravens? I think this is going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be high scoring. And I think after this, I think it's hard for me to bet against the Baltimore Ravens. It really is. I think they're such a good team. I think they split. But I'm going to take Cincy at home over the Baltimore Ravens. Close game. I think Joe Burrow is a quarterback that can keep teams in games. I do have the Cincinnati Bengals making the playoffs this year. Browns and and the Steelers, like those are also good teams. I think it's gonna be a fun division. I think it's gonna be close, and I think 28-21 is gonna be the final. Getting into another tough game to predict. Both teams 3-1, heading down to Houston, and I look at this game. Two very strong quarterbacks. This is a Stephon Diggs game against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills have played a very good offensive game. They didn't play great against Baltimore, but I think that was kind of their wake-up call. Like, okay, we're back. We're 3-1. We're taking on Stephon Diggs, Houston Texans, on the road. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills in this game in a close game. High-scoring game. I think I like this prediction, 33-27. For me, I think the Buffalo Bills, right? They move they move the ball really good. They're playing a good Houston team. I think it's gonna be close. This is really just a road dog coming in and getting a win. I don't think it's like, okay, Buffalo's a super better team. I think Buffalo's a great team. I think they got a good defense and all of that. But I'm gonna take the Buffalo Bills this week. Getting into another divisional matchup. Indianapolis coming off a win against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're going to get a win this week as well. They're going to defeat the Jags. This Jags team, I don't know what is going on with them. I really don't. And I kind of feel bad. I feel like this is a better team than they should have. I think it all starts with Trevor Lawrence, obviously. He hasn't been spectacular, and everything just on the offensive side hasn't been spectacular, in my opinion. I don't think... obviously, they got killed by Buffalo. Just a lot is going wrong when you get Jacksonville, and maybe Doug Peterson gets fired soon if things keep going downhill. But we have another game, another division matchup. A lot of divisional matchups this week. Getting into a game that, like I said, this is probably not going to be a fun game to watch. No Tua and a bunch of injuries. I'm going to take the Patriots this week. I think they're going to split because I think when Tua comes back and they go back to Miami, I think they could split this series. But the thing is with the New England Patriots, right, is this is just going to be a game that they're lucky to win this game because of the injuries of Miami. And I think, Tyler Huntley is their quarterback again? Now, I think it's very, very weird to see Miami be a 1-4 team this week. I think I could definitely see them winning this football game. But we're going to take New England. We're going to take a dog. We've taken a few dogs this week. We've taken New England Patriots. We've taken, I think we took the Jets. Yeah, so kind of 2 dogs so far. Not too many, but getting into our next week, it's hard to bet against Jayden Daniels. It's very hard to bet against Jayden Daniels right now. This Browns team isn't very good. Deshaun Watson's holding them back, and Washington is playing some of their best football. I think you could definitely say they're easily been a top 10 team, maybe top 8. Jayden Daniels has completely changed that organization, and they're thriving. Jayden Daniels has looked awesome, and as a Giants fan, of course, I'm not too pleased to see how good Jayden Daniels is playing. But getting into our next game, and I think this has been a weird this division. Denver Broncos starting off 2-2. They beat the Jets. I wouldn't say they beat them up. They beat the Jets, and who else did they beat? They beat some other team. I forgot who it was. But this is a game where things are a little iffy in Las Vegas, right? Devontae Adams wants to get traded. They want him to be gone. Bo Nix just came off a win against Aaron Rodgers. It seems like Sean Payton is really fixing this Broncos team. And I'm going to take the Broncos this week. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I haven't really changed much of these predictions either. But I think for the Washington game, we could definitely put up some more points here. I just really like how Jayden Daniels has thrown the football, and he's done so much correct this year. Getting into our next week, another game where, do we have too many 1-4 teams this year? we've had a lot so far, right? We got Cleveland, we got Miami, we got a bunch of teams, obviously Carolina. So remember, anything can happen in football. Crazier things have happened, right? Arizona taking on San Fran. Brock Purdy found a way to win in New England with injuries. I think they have some players coming back, I believe. But for me, I think it's just not enough for Arizona. I think it's not enough for Arizona. And I think that taking another home team isn't a bad idea. Now, I don't think it's gonna be like this. I think it's gonna be more like a 24-18 final. Now, I haven't checked the times I've predicted a game correctly. Comments below, you could definitely fill me in. Getting into another game, of course, Green Bay losing to the Vikings last week. Rams, I think they lost to the Bears last week. Yep. Tough game for the Rams. Of course, Jordan Love, I believe, is back now. And Jordan Love didn't have a great game, at least for what I saw. I didn't watch too much of the game, but I think it's hard for me to keep taking, keep me betting against Green Bay this week. I'm gonna take Green Bay this week. Rams fall to 1-4. I think with what I've seen so far is a lot of teams are going 1-4 for what I've seen so far, and that only makes the draft even harder to predict with all these teams going 1-4. So I think there could definitely be some controversy for sure. And getting into our next pick, Giants. They lost the game to the Dallas Cowboys. They didn't put up enough offensive points. They're taking on a offense from Seattle that is good, very strong. All right, DK Metcalf has really emerged into that elite wide receiver. Not saying he wasn't previous seasons ago, but you're seeing the games he's having recently. If you have him in fantasy, you must love him of the impact he's bringing. And I think with the Giants, like Deonte Banks has not been a good enough CB1, right? Adoree Jackson was hurt. Andrew Phillips was hurt. Bunch of injuries on the Giants front, on the secondary side. It's hard for me to pick the Giants this week because of Seattle. I think the Giants could definitely make it a close game. But it matters about Daniel Jones in that offense. If Daniel Jones can't move the football downfield and use Wanda Robinson or Darius Slayton, I don't know if Malik Neighbors is going to play. If he does, I think it definitely helps the Giants' chances of winning the football game. But, I don't know if I see really the Giants pulling out this win. If they do, great. They move to 2-3. But the Seattle Seahawks have played really good football this year. Getting into another game, Dallas on the road, taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Dallas is taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Saints are taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. And I got Dallas winning this game. Okay? Dallas didn't play a great game. In MetLife. I think we can definitely all agree with that. I think Justin Fields has emerged into a good QB in Pittsburgh. With Dallas, they have a lot of injuries actually, and now it's kind of making me not want to pick them with Dallas. And then that would make the Steelers start off 4-1. The NFC East has been weird, right? If everything goes right, Washington Commanders start 4-1, Giants start 1-3, and do the Birds play this week? No, I think that's the first team that has a bye. So there's that. There's no other games on this schedule. So teams on the bye: Lions, Chargers, Eagles, and Tennessee Titans. So I'm going to take the Steelers, actually, because I think Dallas has too many injuries. So scratch that. Bunch of 4-1 teams, bunch of 1-4 teams. But if there's a team that screwed themselves over, was Patrick Mahomes and the KC Chiefs, injuring Rashee Rice. So now that makes a role like Travis Kelce needs to get more involved in this offense. There's no Pacheco, so you got Carson Steele / Kareem Hunt in the backfield. The Saints just lost a close game to the Atlanta Falcons. I don't think Atlanta is on the same tier as the Kansas City Chiefs. And we've picked the Kansas City Chiefs each week. For me, it's kind of like KC might run away with this game, in my opinion, and I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't think the Saints are going to put up nearly that many points, though. And I think with the not 31, we'll go like 24-16. A lot of games that it's just like the Kansas City Chiefs overall. Okay, sure, Rashee Rice is injured. That's terrible. They still have Travis Kelce. They still have Xavier Worthy. And they still have a okay backfield. They still have that elite offensive line. They still got guys in the defense that can make plays. So, like, sure, Rashee Rice, it was a obviously tough blow. I had him in fantasy football, and the reports say he suffered a torn ACL, which means he's done for the year. That's like a 9 to 12 month recovery, and to get back to running and doing all that type of stuff. So I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's really going to do it for this episode. Of course, record has looked good. We're now 34-30. These are the picks this week. I don't think I'm changing anything else. I think if there's a pick that I would change, it would maybe be the New England Patriots or the Baltimore Ravens game. But anyways, guys, we have to do good on these picks back to back. We went 12-4 this week. Let's hope we can go 12-4 again. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. And of course, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when I post all these weekly picks or Giants, Rangers, Yankees videos. It's going to be coming out. And of course, let's smash that subscribe button. We need to get to 300 subs before the end of the regular season for the NFL. I'm banking on it. I know you guys can do it. And let's do this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.